Hey everybody, it's me, Mike Celestino from laughingplace.com, and I'm back with part 2 of 3 Lego sets that I was given by our friends at Disney Products in promotion of the new Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy miniseries that's out right now on Disney Plus. You can go watch it if you have a Disney Plus subscription. There are 3 Lego sets that are tied in with this miniseries. This is the second one. We did Jedi Bob's Starfighter last time. This one is called TIE Fighter and X-Wing MashUp, and it comes with a buildable TIE Fighter, a buildable X-Wing, and you can rebuild them to the TIE Wing and the X-Fighter. So, again, kind of mashed up versions of those two Rebel and Imperial starfighters, as you would see in the Rebuild the Galaxy alternate universe version of the Star Wars galaxy. Here's the minifigures that come with this set. You've got Yessi Scala, who's kind of the female lead of this miniseries. You've got Sig Griebling, who is pretty much the main character of this miniseries. So last time we got Jedi Bob. We're kind of fleshing out the main cast of this miniseries. You've got a generic Rebel pilot. You've got a droid named L3GO, or Lego. Some people have pointed out that the color scheme that Lego utilizes here, L3GO, is reminiscent of Ronald McDonald, but rest assured this is not a McDonald's cross promotion. It's just intended to have the primary colors that you would see in early Lego sets. There's also a generic TIE pilot to pilot the TIE Fighter, much like the Rebel pilot will be piloting the X-Wing there. Let's take a look at the back side of the box. This is what they look like when you've got the wings switched around. So you can see the S-foils, as they're called on an X-Wing, have been removed from the chassis body of the X-Wing and placed onto the cockpit of the TIE Fighter there, and vice versa. The two wings of the TIE Fighter are being attached to the body of the X-Wing. The cockpit opens and closes. Same deal for the TIE Fighter cockpit here. And they've got this arranged to look like a Rebel hangar bay sort of there, even though this represents both sides of the battle, obviously. Let's go ahead and open this up and take a look at what's inside. Okay, let's just pop open the perforated side of the box here, open the flap, and I'll dump out all the contents. Of course, you have the instruction manual. Actually, looks like it's a 2-part instruction manual that comes with this particular set. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 steps that we're going to get through as we build this set. I'll close up the box. I'll put that right here. And what I'm going to do, what I usually do for these Lego builds, is I'll go into fast motion, and after I'm done building, take a nice look and review the set for you. Let me dump out step number 1 here first. And we've got the brick, the all-important brick separator there. And we'll open up the instruction manual to step number 1. Looks like we've got a TIE pilot here. And I'll put him together real quick. Got the helmet. Let's see, you've got the head with a female face on it, and the helmet goes on the blaster. That's the TIE pilot. And then I'm gonna go in a fast motion, and I'll see you on the other side. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. And here is the finished product of the Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup building set. I forgot to mention earlier, this is set number 75393. It has 1,063 pieces. It is the medium-sized set for Rebuild the Galaxy. Let's take a look at the X-Wing first here. I think this is a pretty decent-sized X-Wing for minifigure scale. The TIE Fighter feels a little bit smaller than it should be for this scale to me, but I think they kind of needed it to be that way for the wings to be interchangeable, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. First, let's take a look at the X-Wing from all sides here. I like the way, that doesn't have a automated crank or gears you can turn to make the wings open up, but you can do it manually, and I think it works perfectly fine like that. I like the little greebling around the back here in the engine sections on the back, and of course your little astromech droid is going to have to fit right in the astromech slot right there, which it does, of course. And we're going to take a closer look at him in a minute. First, let me show you the underside of the X-Wing. Let's get a kind of bird's eye view there. The cockpit does, of course, open up. The other thing I didn't mention earlier is that there are stickers in this set. Here is the empty sticker sheet. There's a sticker right there. There are a couple stickers right there and right there. And let's see, we'll take the X-Wing pilot figure, and I'll take off his blaster, and I'll seat him in the cockpit. And we'll close that up. And that's what it looks like with an X-Wing pilot in the X-Wing Starfighter cockpit. We'll put the S-foils into flight position. There's landing gear. I didn't mention that. Landing gear does retract like that, like that. Even flatter like that. And then you can open them all up again. And it sits nice like that. Let's put the droid in here just to get a complete look at that. There we go. And then the last little feature I want to show off here is these firing projectiles to represent the laser cannons or the proton torpedoes, which would come out of the nose cone of an X-Wing. But they fire out of here. I guess it's more intended to be the lasers. And you just flick the little projectile like this, and they shoot out, and you probably lose it like I just did, but I'll find it. The good news is that even if you can't find it, the set did come with an extra red laser blast and an extra green laser blast projectile for the X-Wing and TIE Fighter respectively, so you can just take the extra one and reload it in there like so, and you're good to go until you find the other one somewhere buried in the corner. Let's take a look at the TIE Fighter before we look at the minifigures. So like I said, this does feel a little bit smaller than it should be for minifigure scale. Here's the TIE Pilot for scale, but I think it works for what it is. I think the space between the cockpit and the wings should be wider too. If you look at one of the TIE Fighter models from the movies, here's the side of the ship, side of the wing. Pretty good detailing there. Another, this is not a sticker actually. This is a printed circular piece there. There's the other side, same thing in reverse. This does have, like I said, two projectiles as well. These are green. That's probably safer to fire it in the box so I don't lose it. but that's what it looks like on the front. Let's fire it at the camera. There we go. That time I just shot it right into myself. And we can reload that pretty easily. And there's two translucent red pieces underneath the cockpit to give you the impression of where the laser cannons would be on the TIE fighter. And the cockpit canopy does open up, and we'll take our TIE pilot minifigure and sit him in here. Let's see if I can get him to sit down correctly. Usually got to take the blaster off of him and move his arms up a little. It's tougher with one hand. There we go. Closes up. I think the other major issue, the size thing isn't a big deal. It's intended to be, you know, it's ages 9 and up. It's for kids mostly. There are more accurate TIE fighter sets out there that have existed in the past. I think the one that came with Rogue One or Solo, maybe, a Star Wars Story, was a really good and more accurate for minifigure scale TIE fighter. But this one, I think it is for kids who like the animated show. My big issue here is that you can't see through the cockpit, which I guess it's not a big deal, because I've seen people point out that even when you do have visibility through the cockpit, the TIE pilot is in a black suit, so it's hard to make him out anyway. I would at least like the illusion that the TIE pilot is able to see out through the front of the ship. So that does bug me a little bit, that it's blocked by a plate behind it. But you can live with it, and you could always modify it if you like. Let's see. Backside, you saw twin ion engines. Underneath, top side, some stickers here, by the way, on the top of the TIE fighter to represent the cockpit canopy hatch. That would be the access point for a real TIE fighter in the universe. Let's take a look at the minifigures. Starting with L3G0, or Lego. He's got yellow legs, he's got a red chassis or torso, and he's got a white head with red and yellow highlights. It's just a fun, very different droid from what you would normally see in a Lego Star Wars set. Of course, you can mix and match this with other droids you may own. It's very fun, very colorful. You've already seen the X-Wing pilot briefly, but let's take another look. This figure has been in a bunch of different sets, so we can get him in focus there. He has a blaster. I did have an extra blaster in the set, which is great. Always need more of those. I like the detailing on the helmet. There's a Rebel Alliance insignia. Backside, and take off the helmet. He's kind of gritting his teeth. On the backside, just a expressionless face. If you want to switch it around, you can do that. And then the TIE pilot, is, again, a figure that's been featured before in different Lego Star Wars sets. He's got two Imperial insignias on his helmet. Nice printing on the front and back. A blaster. And underneath, it's a lady TIE fighter pilot. Only one head on this one. I don't know why. You can have, I mean, I guess the idea is when you take off the helmet, you can only, you don't want to see double faces, two faces on either side, one face on either side. And then let's get into the new characters that were created for this mini-series. This is Yessi Scala. Like I said, she's the female lead of Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. She's a pilot also. That's the printing on her front side with the goggles and her little utility belt and a vest. There's the back side of the printing, and her hair comes off, and you can see her alternate face is a little smirk instead of the gritted teeth look, which is more appropriate if she's in like a fight. And she does have a gaffy stick. If you've watched the cartoon, if you watch the animated miniseries, you've seen her fighting with this gaffy stick. So they recreated that here in Lego form. And then we've got Sig Griebling, who is pretty much the main character of Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy. He's got his little scarf and a jacket and a shirt on underneath. And there's the backside of that. He's smiling on his face on the front, and then he's worried looking with gritted teeth on the backside there. And he has this little staff for nerf herding. Yep, this character is a literal nerf herder, which is a phrase that first popped up in The Empire Strikes Back. You scruffy looking nerf herder. And now we know what a nerf herder actually is. This piece here is called the cornerstone, and it kind of reminded me of the piece of resistance in the Lego movie, but it serves a slightly different purpose, somewhat different purpose in Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy, which you can watch right now on Disney+. But that's Sig Griebling, voiced by Gaten Matarazzo from Stranger Things. And then lastly, I do have to show off the main kind of mashup feature of the X-Wing and TIE Fighter set from Rebuild the Galaxy. The wings from each ship are going to come off, and you're going to be able to mix and match them. So what you want to do is just take out these pins on the TIE Fighter, and the wings should pop right off. Easy peasy like that. And then we'll do the same with the X-Wing. Flip this over. Let's put the landing gear away. And then take these pins out of the underside. Wings pop off. Simple like that. And we're going to put the wings from the TIE Fighter onto the X-Wing like this. And like that. I know it just looks wrong, but that's the joke. That's what it's supposed to be. And I believe this is a TIE wing now, with the other one going to be, the other one's going to be an X fighter. But this is what the TIE wing looks like with the TIE Fighter wings and the X-Wing chassis. Let's put the droid back in here. That's what it looks like. Very funny, very silly, but that is definitely the spirit of the Lego Star Wars animation in general and Rebuild the Galaxy specifically. Now I'm curious if this is going to stand on its own. Yeah, it does, actually. I thought it might be too front heavy to sit on the table without falling over forward. Let's see, this is the TIE Fighter cockpit, and we're going to plug, backwards. This is the S-foils from the X-Wing. That goes in like that. And this side pops in like this. Put the pins back in. And now we have a X-Fighter. That's what this one is. So that's what it looks like with the S-foils in flight position. And then you open them up like that. And that's a X-Fighter in attack position, with the wings in attack position. So now it's X-Fighter versus TIE wing. Very fun. Very silly, but very playful. And definitely something right out of Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy on Disney+. All right, that's everything I wanted to show you about the new Lego Star Wars Rebuild the Galaxy TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup set. Right now I have them in the configuration of the TIE Wing and the X-Fighter. There's the TIE Wing, and that's called the X-Fighter, I believe. If you watch the series on Disney Plus, you'll see them in action. Here's the 4 minifigure characters and 1 droid that come with the set. Very fun set. It's intended for kids ages 9 and up who enjoy the animated show, or even if you haven't seen the animated show, I recommend checking that out and picking up this set. For adult collectors, you might want something a little bit more accurate to the movies, but I'm an adult and I enjoyed Rebuild the Galaxy, and I get a kick out of having these sets in my collection. I think if I had to pick a favorite between the two, I think the X-Fighter looks a little more like it could exist in Star Wars than the TIE Wing, which is looks a little goofy like that. But that's the whole idea. My name is Mike Celestino. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to our friends at Disney Products, by the way, for giving us these Lego Star Wars building sets from Rebuild the Galaxy. You watch it right now on Disney Plus. Bye!